A game you've likely seen a time or two on the Game Mubaka channels is Vicious Circle, a fighting game that was in development by Atari but was unfortunately cancelled. I've done plenty of updates that have detailed Atari's pitch documents archived by Gary Stark, breakdowns of the game's basic mechanics, photos and videos of the game running on real hardware thanks to Chance Palmer and Galloping Ghost Arcade, and a list of finishing moves in the game that have not only been discovered by myself, but also a variety of helpful site users that include Chance, Gruntzilla, DB, and Segatailstrident. Even though we're frequently digging deep on the development history of the game, pulling information together that allows us to understand the game's story, and uncovering hidden commands in a game that was slated for release about 25 years ago, you may notice one thing. I don't really talk about playing the actual game all that much. With another chunk of finishing moves being discovered, I thought I would take a moment to step back and kind of process where we're at with this game after I first touched it approximately 2 years ago. So, why are the majority of my videos and articles spent talking about things outside of the gameplay in Vicious Circle? To put it simply, at this stage in the game's development, it is ripe with infinite combos with no known safeguards to prevent these. The only protection the game has in place is a system that prevents you from doing more than 3 juggle hits in the same combo. So Vicious Circle could have one of the most robust move lists of all time, but it just doesn't matter when the game revolves around setting up your touch of death as soon as possible. And it isn't like these infinite combos have a high skill bar to overcome. Being based on Killer Instinct, the game contains a number of auto doubles and links, and the player can just discover which 2 or 3 attacks they need to mash out repeatedly. And that is unfortunate because I think the Berserker mode should be a much bigger deal than what we ultimately ended up with. When manual combos are so easy to do and lead to 100% damage or a timer scam, there is simply no reason to use the Berserker mode unless you really want to make the game's announcer scream. In short, because the game is in the unfinished state that it is, there really isn't much of a motivator to hunt for tech in Vicious Circle when 2 or 3 moves per character will carry you to victory. On another note, I typically don't record or stream the game too often because the screen flashing in this game is full stop obnoxious. Obviously the game was intended to be viewed in an arcade, and there is some more subtlety in this regard, but when MAME is the ideal way for people to play Vicious Circle today, the direct capture presents all of this flashing, large and in charge. If someone could possibly patch this game or implement MAME cheats to eliminate the screen flashing and fix the button mapping, that would be a blessing. Now, the point of this video isn't to dog on Vicious Circle, which again is a game that was not finished by its developers. Since we're on the topic of Vicious Circle gameplay though, let's dig into some new findings. I've personally put all of my time in Vicious Circle into discovering the game's finishing moves, so it's been noted a few times that there doesn't seem to be a universal move list for the characters in this game. This is something Chance has discussed doing multiple times, but in looking at media he shared from a previous California Extreme Arcade and Pinball Expo, we can see a prototype cabinet of Vicious Circle was included in the arcade gaming lineup at one time. The most notable facet of this game's appearance, however, is the game's bezel. It looks like someone had compiled move lists for this game, which may have even included some of the finishing moves. I'm going to search online to see if I can find any other photos of this cabinet, but if anyone does have photos of this bezel, we would be eternally grateful if you could share it with us. Even if nothing is available that reveals the information on this bezel, it's still amazing to see Vicious Circle in an actual arcade atmosphere. Next on the list, I'm taking a look at the prototype version's final boss, Dredlok. As it is possible, I have stumbled upon a strategy that makes him even easier to defeat. While the standard strategies of hitting him with an infinite combo works all the same compared to the non-boss characters, Dredlok is far more aggressive, making that first hit to start those combos a little more difficult to land. Edge has a mid-air projectile that can bait Dredlok into whiffing his full gore style uppercut that reflects projectiles. However, in playing this game on cabinet, I found his aggressiveness forces him to run into Edge's palm strike repeatedly. Even though this move doesn't normally combo into itself, for whatever reason, it does 2 hits repeatedly on Dredlok. Sure, palm strike into wind kick isn't exactly difficult to do, but if you can make the process even easier just by mashing palm strike, why not? I've also recently been toying around with the cheat functions in MAME and have found a setting that allows you to toggle Dredlok and Warrior as selectable fighters. This isn't some huge revelation, as players such as Admiral McFish has featured YouTube videos playing as the boss characters as far back as 2016. Even though Dredlok is quite powerful, being presented as a boss character, he seems to have a full kit of moves, so I wonder if the bosses were somehow going to be made playable via codes. The character select screen features one space that is just a game logo, so it's even been speculated this could be a spot on the screen that prompts for secrets to be entered. That's all just speculation though. Vicious Circle was not finished, so it could just be some sort of a placeholder for a character or feature that never made its way into the game. Dredlok at this point seemed to be custom combo the character. With the exception of his heavy kick, all of his other standard attacks combo into each other. Once you get your first hit, you can mash out the rest of the buttons at random for strings of attacks. Dredlok's Berserker attack is also strangely different than normal. He can execute a Berserker as soon as his meter is in the green, but his activation is a launcher attack that barely reduces his meter. Activating this attack also stuns the opponent for some reason. Because it hits and launches as an OTG attack, you can use a hard knockdown attack and then ground hit with the Berserker attack. After 3 juggle hits like normal, you are unable to hit the opponent, but the game still allows you to repeatedly execute the activation and lock the opponent in place due to the stun. Very bizarre. Still, it's fun to turn the tables and be able to control Dredlok. What remains to be seen though is if these characters have finishing moves, or if they also have mutilation videos. At the least, they are still able to execute the mutilation moves of the standard characters. And now for what most people have come for. Thanks to Segatailstrident and DB, we have another batch of finishing moves that have been uncovered for Vicious Circle. Mallus's Brutality is performed by pressing forward, down, back, forward, button 5. Stiletta's Brutality is performed by pressing back, forward, down, coin button. And referring back to our previous content, MAME has mapped the heavy kick button to the coin button in the program. There is a proper button for this attack if you are lucky enough to play on a cabinet. Taera's Brutality is back, down, forward, coin button. Stiletta's Fatality is back, down, forward, button 6. Low Chi's Brutality is down, forward, back, button 2. Bolok's Fatality is forward, down, coin button. And Kl'Klak's Brutality is down, up, down, button 1. And also recently added we have Chainsaw's Fatality, which is forward, down, back, forward, down, button 3. And Low Chi's Fatality is back, down, forward, button 2. Here are those moves played out in-game.
Don't play game. Don't play
We'll note that Taera's Brutality is unfortunately the same video that plays for her Fatality. In the game state, it's possible this was just a placeholder until the final video could be finished and implemented. While a button combination hasn't been completely pinned down, it's looking like Kl'Klak's Fatality and Brutality are the same case, so this isn't an isolated instance in the game. Looking at the full roster of finishing moves, we've determined the only finishing moves left to discover include Krave's Brutality, Chainsaw's Brutality, Mallus's Fatality, and Kl'Klak's Fatality. With 9 standard characters in the game and 3 finishing move types, that's a total of 27 finishing moves, unless there is another finishing move type buried in the game that we don't know about. Through community efforts, this means we've uncovered 23 hidden commands in the game that weren't widely known until about 2 years ago. I couldn't have done it without the Game Ubaka readers, so thank you so much. So there you have it, a periodical Game Ubaka update on Vicious Circle. I realize there was probably nothing earth-shattering in this video, but I'm personally excited as it seems the finish line is in view in knowing all of the game's finishing moves. While there might not be much to dig into in regard to tech, it has been amazing to discover so much information about this game and be able to archive it online for others to learn and enjoy. That's all for now, and of course, as soon as we know more about Vicious Circle, we'll have the information updated on our all-purpose Vicious Circle resource page over on Game Ubaka. The link is in the video description, so please take a look if you'd like to know more about this cancelled Atari fighting game.